Day 10. Every day is goddamn arm day. Look at the meat vehicle. Look at the meat vehicle. Not looking too bad, eh? You can overtrain. You can overtrain, man. You can't train to failure your same muscle group every day. You can overtrain. Okay, here's the workout. This is a progressive overload heavy day. So I'm doing the 100-pound dumbbell for my working sets for triceps. I'm doing the 110-pound barbell for biceps. We're in the 8 to 15 rep range. Roughly, I'm resting 3 to 4 minutes in between each set. Supersetting back and forth between tris and bis. 4 total rounds, letting the muscle come close to full recovery. Pushing to get as many reps as I can, tracking the reps that I can do. And I do this type of workout, which I think should be the foundation of your arm training. I don't think you should just pump your guns and not pay attention to the weight. I think you should try to progressive overload style. You should try to build strength in your arms. Treat them as if it's your squat or your bench or your dead. I think that, in my case, I've seen that to be very productive in leading to more growth. But with this every day is arm day, 10 days straight now, I am only doing heavy days like this once every 3 days. So I do a heavy day, and the next 2 arm days, I pump it up. I lighten the weight up a little bit. I shorten the rest times down, and I experiment. I do wacky different structures of training, as you've seen, or if you haven't, go watch some of the previous videos where the focus is more on pump, less on heavy weight. And part of my thought is that I think in terms of, I'm trying to balance the recovery. And so I'm factoring in weight, I'm factoring in volume, and trying to do heavy weight to the max every session seems a little too crazy. Who knows, though? Maybe my body could handle it, but for the time being, I'm kind of throttling that. And also, if I feel really fatigued in one of the pump days, I kind of back the volume down, and I do like 5 or 6 rounds instead of like 8, something like that. Anyways, after the progressive overload heavy stuff, we got to do a little bit of pump it up shit because we want to get some more blood in the muscle. We want to feel juicy as frick for some post-workout footage. Flexing. Looking like a meat hog, like a stuffed up frickin' honey ham on Christmas Day. Just about to burst from the seams, all swollen up, bubbling over, So I did 2 rounds of high reps, fast tempo, 15 to 30 rep range with fast tempo with the cables here, as you can see, and then just resting 30 seconds. So I hit the tris, ba, 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 and I go down to partials towards the end. So I'm maxing this shit out. And then I rest 30 seconds. I do the same thing with bis. Full reps, little momentum. As you start to hit failure and you can't complete full reps, you go down to little partials, ba, 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 ba. Rest 30 seconds, repeat that 2 total times for 2 rounds. And I'm telling you, man, if you haven't tried high reps, fast tempo, superset biceps back and forth, you have not experienced the most maximal arm pump that you can get. Do like 6 rounds of that as just its own workout, 6 to 8 rounds, where you push to failure and then go into partials in the 15 to 30 rep range and bring the heat, man, and then rest. You could rest 30 seconds up to like a minute and a half, let's say, something like that. And then go do the same for bis and then repeat that 8 times. Your arms are going to explode out of the side of your body. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, man, I've tried it all. I've tried basically all the arm structure type of workouts that you could do, and this shit gives you the biggest pump if you're looking to get a big pump, which isn't the only and most important thing. That the pump and muscle gain are not directly correlated, all right? And who the frick really knows exactly, but if nothing else, I think it should be part of your training to do some crazy pump it up stuff, but I don't think it should be the only thing that you should do. As I showed in the beginning of this video, what the beginning of the session or the most of this session looked like. The progressive overload, heavy stuff, tracking. You should have that in your repertoire. But the pump it up stuff, man, is fun. And it's fun to just max out your inflated ability, Just get yourself inflated, dude. And I've been taking this intra-workout carb supplement. It's just like a carbohydrate powder. I picked up a new one today called Carbolin, which is a little bit more like well-known. So you could check that out if you want. And then I've got a non-stim pump product, which I would say overall I don't really notice much of an effect from. I've taken them, I've not taken them. The pump product with the citrulline and all this other stuff that's supposed to get more blood into your muscles, if it does anything, it's minimal, but I bought it, so I'm using it up. So I got the carb powder, I got the pump product, and then I sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, because apparently salt, as you sweat too, because as you can see in this video, I'm kind of sweating a bit, helps to rehydrate you and helps to give you a bit more of a pump. So we get that into the shaker cup, fill it to the top with water, and I drink that throughout my workout. And it's not going to completely change the world, but it's just something that gives you a little extra boost, a little extra pump factor. So you got to lean into some of these little details, right? Yeah, and this is what the physique looks like. 10 days of every day is arm day. And the last thing I want to talk about finishing with is that this contemplation of going on gear, of not going on gear. If you're really serious about working out and training, it's something that you may have contemplated, thought about at a certain point in time. And what I say is, fuck that, man. We're staying natural. You should stay natural too. And I could be an example for you. People, all kinds of negative views, and you're taking something, or you're lying about your muscle imbalances. It used to be criticisms of like, you have no shoulders. I haven't seen a comment. I used to get that all the time. You got zero shoulders. This is going to make sense. Trust me. I'm gonna bring it full circle. Let me just ramble a little bit here. Stick with me. Used to, like 2 years ago, used to get comments all the time. Zero shoulders. Your shoulders suck. You got no shoulders. Blah 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 blah. Now I very rarely see those negative comments. Recently somebody started saying that my rear delts are underdeveloped. So it's getting real specific. Now it's just the rear delts. And then it used to be like no legs. Your legs suck. You got no legs. My legs aren't great, but they've improved some. Some of these things are warranted. Then it was, no back. Your back's tiny. Blah blah blah. And then for the bulk of the last year, it's been, you got a 12-year-old's chest. You got a little bird chest. And then once I started to improve on some of these things, these negative comments disappear. And then it turns into things like, oh, you just have elite genetics, or, oh, now you're on gear, or, oh, you're lying and you're actually training your whole body. And the reason I'm like going through all this is because the point that I want to make to you is I've stayed natural this whole time, and I don't have elite level genetics. I have good genetics, but not elite level. And just from investing myself into the process, never missing sessions, and just, it's hard to fully articulate in a simple form, but pouring more and more and more in. And, to each his own. You don't have to take training this seriously. But if you really want to gain muscle and you feel like you need to take gear, I would say look at like me over the past year or two. I've been thinking the same thing. I remember, I need to take gear. And then I'm just, you know what? Let me just train hard. Let me just change something I'm doing. Let me try something else. What else could I be doing? And I'm limited, man. I can't even do my chest directly, or my shoulders, or my back, but I never miss a session. I push every single set like it's my life on the line. All right. And then I think about it and I reflect, and I consistently go, how can I upgrade my approach, my sleep, my nutrition, my training? Do I need to experiment more? Arms 10 days in a row. Who knows, man? So far it seems to be working. So the point is that I'm in it too, and I feel the pressure, especially as a content creator, when 99% of other content creators who are making content about muscle gain are on something, seemingly. So, if you feel the pressure to do it as an individual with not making content, you're just living your life or whatever, it's like, dude, we all feel it. But at the end of the day, man, there's so much progress to be made, and you're going to gain so many beneficial attributes from not taking that shortcut. And it's not always a shortcut. If you want to compete as a bodybuilder, you got to take gear. But I think a lot of people are in the case where they haven't really put in the work for years. They haven't put in the sweat equity, and you're reaching for something to supplement your lack of energy or effort. And you may not think you have a lack of energy or effort. You're like, I'm dedicated. I go to the gym. It's been 3 years and my genetics sucks. Like, well, I almost guarantee there's something else that you could be doing. And if I can pull off additional gains, just a regular dude with good genetics, but not elite level genetics, and you can look at my physique from before, and you can look at, it's like, yeah, I mean, he's an in shape guy, but it's not like there's dudes I met that I've grown up with that like train a little and are like more jacked than me. It's like, okay, we all know that person. We all probably went to high school with one or two of these guys that are just gorillas. And some of them get into lifting, some of them don't. And it's like if they do, they just explode. And it's like, okay, this is not fair. This is not the same rule. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm like, oh, I'm in pretty good shape and I train. I'm like, oh, I'm getting pretty good results. So it's like solid genetics, good shape, all right? But nothing elite level. And so regardless of where your genetics are, you can achieve so much more progress, but it just requires so much more energy and focus and drive and ability to overcome obstacles. And the point I'm trying to finish with is that it develops you as a person if you stay dedicated to it, because it teaches you to deal with so many things. Dealing with the mental stress or negative emotions of failure, teaching yourself to be disciplined with something, teaching yourself to attack physical pain. It spills over into other aspects of your life. It makes you into a stronger person mentally. If you consistently push yourself to endure physical pain voluntarily in pursuit of a goal of bettering yourself physically, and that becomes part of your habit, and you consistently do that week after week, month after month, year after year. It spills over into your mentality where you're able to handle discomfort more because you force yourself to deal with physical discomfort. You can deal with emotional discomfort, mental discomfort, stressful situations better. It shapes you into a stronger, better person. You can still be a piece of shit. There's plenty of pieces of shit that go to the gym and pump it up, right? It's not going to fix all your problems. It's not going to make you into a freaking angel, but it is a way to develop yourself as a person. And what I've seen in the more that I pour into it, the more that I get out of it as a perspective, as a human, as a character. And I wouldn't trade that in for anything. It doesn't mean you still can't get that if you take gear, but my point is that you can make way more progress than you think, but you're not willing to do all the additional steps. And you got to decide for yourself if you want to do them or if you want to risk your health and take gear. And it's for each person, it's for you to decide. But there is a path where you can probably get your body to be pretty freaking impressive and be happy with the amount of muscle that you have without taking stuff, if you really are willing to do all of the things. And then I would say there's a risk of reducing the personal development that you can get from being dedicated to pushing yourself in the gym. If taking gear is kind of a bit of a shortcut in that, it builds you up a bit and you're kind of complacent and you didn't really have to necessarily work as hard as you would have if you just stayed completely natural. And that's no shade, because there are people who work just as hard, if not harder, and take gear. So there's all kinds of different people falling in different places on the spectrum. I'm not targeting any one individual person. I'm just saying in general, for a lot of people, I think who jump on pretty early or aren't willing to push or invest more into it before they get on something, that you forego some of the benefit that you can get from training in the gym. And that's my rant. I get it. At the end of the day, we're just pumping weights. It's not that big of a deal, but I think there just needs to be a bit of a perspective shift within the fitness culture. And I got a pretty small audience. Anybody here that's watching, I greatly appreciate you. And I'm just a drop in the bucket. I don't expect it to change what people do at the end of the day. But if you are watching this and you can relate to that, then I would hope that you would look at me and know that I'm doing it legit. Everything I'm telling you is 100% the truth. Man, I'm not lying about my muscle imbalance. I'm not lying about being natural. I guess there's no way I can convince you of that, but I'm a person of integrity. Honesty and truth is the most important attribute to me. That's my North Star, and that comes before everything else. And I don't know, just rambling in circles now. Hope that you got some benefit from this. If you made it all the way to the end, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Go make some arm gains. Have a great day. Peace.